All right, producers are making beats, they're not clearing samples, and I remember the first major placement I got, it had a sample in it. And even then, I think I knew that the label was going to clear the sample, and I was so excited when I got the agreement from the label. It said 50-50 split on the underlying composition, so I was going to get all my publishing, all my writer's share. The album is #1 in the country. It goes gold the first week. I'm about to get paid. They contact me about the mechanical license. I'm like, great, I'm going to get mechanical royalties. I'm going to get performance royalties. And then they alert me that 50-50 split was pre-sample clearance. So when the label cleared the sample, I lost all of it. So I got 0 equity in the underlying composition and therefore 0 performance royalties, 0 mechanical royalties, no sync money. It was terrible. So then years later, when Interscope contacts me about a track that I interpolated Genuine's hit single Pony in, I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna get anything out of this. So I was fully prepared to just get 0. I was shocked when I saw what the splits were. Because you gotta figure, it's Genuine, it's Static Major, rest in peace, it's Timbaland. Why wouldn't they take everything? And the craziest part is, not only did they not take everything, not only did I make a pretty good amount of money off of that song because it became a hit, but the song went viral before the sample was cleared. Now, that's kind of dangerous, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, that's pretty much becoming the industry standard now. Even with the labels, they are dropping music, they are dropping albums, and the producers haven't even gotten paid. The samples damn sure haven't gotten cleared. So yes, that can cause problems in some cases. It's like what happened with Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman. I remember talking to Eastbound way back about producing Antidote, and that track was released to an uncleared sample on SoundCloud. It went viral, and then they had to clear the sample, and they still got, him and Wonder Girl still got some underlying composition equity, but probably not as much as they would have gotten if they hadn't waited, if the label hadn't waited to clear the sample after the song blew up. So that is a dangerous game to play, but back to me, because this is my channel. So I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see an interview, a little clip of an interview with Genuine, and he's talking about people who sample him without permission. And I'm like, I know this is about me. This has to be about the track, because this is the most recent hit song that used not a sample, but a replay of one of his classic records. There's got to be about us. And I watched it, and this is what he said.
I got 7 daughters, right? They're always coming to me, Dad, did you know this person used your song? I'll be like, who is it? Sure. And then they got to pull it up and all that. And of course I know, because I say yes to everything. I would never understand why, artists that's been here for a long time would say no to a new artist using their music. I just never say no. I say yeah all the time.
I don't know why the caption says Genuine said this about people who sample his music without permission, because it sounds like he's very clearly talking about the whole process of clearance, which is giving permission. But I just saw this clip as I was scrolling. I think it was on Facebook. And I was like, wait a minute. I interpolated a Genuine song. I want to hear what he has to say about it. Because the caption it was misleading. Because everyone wants clickbait. And I understand clickbait if it said something like Genuine said this about sample clearance or something like that, but I hate when the clickbait is deceptive like that. So anyway, what are your thoughts on that, Dame? Because I think we've talked a lot about artists rejecting sample clearance.
I can see and I can understand if an artist rejects sample clearance if the new version of what it is doesn't align with like their morals or beliefs. Didn't Sexy Red come out with a song that was way different than, I think Michael Jackson? She wanted to come out with
the Eat It on Beat It, yeah.
Yeah, I can see Michael Jackson estate being like, yeah, you can't do that with that song.
I can also see them saying, yeah, you can do that with the song, but
I think that some people don't reach out because, one, they're afraid of how much it'll cost, and then two, of a possible rejection. So then they can't do the song, and they put it on the radar now, so they know that it's happening. But a lot of people do it without permission and just roll the dice of whether or not it'll be seen. The more successful a song is that has a sample that hasn't been cleared,
Yeah.
the higher the likelihood that it will get caught. But if it's a song that you don't think anybody's going to listen to, I don't think anybody's coming after you for that.
When I did interpolate Pony, right, I didn't even know the name of the artist dropping the record.
Somebody hired you to
Yeah. Like an unsigned kind of situation, just emailed me, here's my idea. I want you to sample this. I was like, I'm not going to sample it because how do you sample Pony's got those loud drums in it? Really, I think they just wanted the main melody and then the rest was up to me. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I'll just find a way to replay it. Did the research, figured out which sound module it was from, etc., put it together. But it starts blowing up on TikTok, unbeknownst to me, because I'm not a kid. And there was a whole dance challenge associated with it, and blah, blah, blah. So all that stuff really helps. It started with like a couple, maybe from the South, that did a dance, and then it ended up with like squads of K-pop choreographers doing it. So it went crazy. It's platinum now as a single. But at one point, you're right, Dame, it was probably blowing up on TikTok to the point where maybe Genuine's daughters saw it before it got cleared, before Interscope stepped in, 300 Entertainment stepped in and, signed the song, cleared cleared the interpolation. Shout out to Genuine, shout out to Timbaland. It was a incredibly fair split. So if I made money, I know he made money. The fact that he said yes after probably being allowed, I would have loved to ask questions of him because I've never communicated with him. Did you see that the song that interpolated your song, did you see that it was performing well? And then how did you feel about that? Because it wasn't cleared yet. Because it seems like he was probably aware of it. And then when the label came by and said, all right, this is what's going on, rather than him say, oh, well, it's already out. Now I got him on the ropes. I'm going to demand something crazy or I'm going to be a jerk about it. He clearly wasn't. None of them were. So that to me was cool. Because, that is how that stuff happens organically. And granted, you can punish people for that. Like even as a producer, if someone takes my beat without paying and the song blows up and then they come back to me and they're like, all right, time to negotiate. I stole your shit, but let's negotiate now in good faith. A lot of folks would feel like this is an opportunity to get revenge. And it's like, just be cool about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be surprised if Genuine was negotiating the stuff himself. But it sounds like the way he looks at it is just like, look, this is additional bread of songs that potentially can do well. And, oftentimes these songs are a reminder to this new generation that there was music before this, and they do the research and find the original and become fans of that. So he just kind of sees it as a like passive positive all the way around. So shout out to Genuine for being open to letting newer artists sample his work. I think that's dope. But I also can respect somebody that doesn't want their work touched. Like it's up to them. I wouldn't get upset at that.
Yeah, it is. And I think we've done episodes before where we talk about the artists that just do not ever clear samples. Because there are some, I mean, we know Tracy Chapman, we know Prince. Yeah, if you're either of them, and obviously rest in peace, Prince, but why would you need to clear samples? Why would you feel like, I think there are some people for whom their legacy has to be intergenerational, and they do that by collaborating. Whereas Prince's approach was not that. And based on his brand, that worked for him.